How does the general population feel about LD and ADHD? How about employers?
The general population, when thinking about learning disabilities and ADHD, have heard about it and have heard about it for many years. The question is, what do they know about it, and therefore what do they ascribe in terms of what it's all about? One of the things that has been a concern for those in the area of special education and the whole disability community is the idea that individuals don't have much understanding besides the labels themselves. Therefore, sometimes it's a little disturbing, but at the same time something that needs to be worked with, where individuals with learning disabilities in the past have been thought of as having mental retardation, these days called intellectual disabilities, or individuals with ADHD know that there's problems with attention, but maybe all this is wrapped in under the heading of autism. The point being is that this is all very wrong, but all these particular disabilities tend to get morphed together because there's a lot of misunderstanding about what they actually are. This is something that needs to be worked on in the general public because the more one understands what a person can do, the more they understand what their success can be and how far they can go in terms of their job, their work performance, and things along that line. So when it comes to the workplace, it has a lot to do with that as well, in terms of individuals who are not special educators and they're not psychologists and they're not people in the disabilities movement. They've heard about ADHD or learning disabilities, and they may have someone in their family or a neighbor or someone in their community that they've heard about, but they don't specifically know about exactly what it is. That means that one of the things that is very, very important is individuals who go into the workplace or talk to employers or prospective employers about their particular disability is saying, I have a learning disability and that means, and you see what's coming next, I have issues with, let's say, reading fast or comprehending after reading something one time. In essence, what you're saying is, I don't have a learning disability, and then you free associate to what it's all about. But I have a learning disability, and this is exactly what it is. So part of the understanding about what learning disability is, or let's say ADHD, is to educate the other person specifically about what it's all about, as opposed to letting them say, oh, that person has learning disability and therefore, and they go off with their own thinking about that, and a lot of time misunderstanding. The whole idea of, and wrapped under the idea of advocacy, is just being a very good advocate for yourself and saying, yes, I want that person to know that I have a learning disability, but then they need to know specifically this is what my issue is, and therefore becomes much more manageable and obviously a lot more understandable in that way. So general public in lots of ways is no different than those who are in the workplace or in employment settings, because they're all people from the same pool. It's very different again from the school age years, where maybe people have, or human services work, where people have a greater understanding, and therefore it's incumbent upon the individual who's working and is working maybe for the first time, entry level, beginning their adult life and all that, to be able to have that conversation. That means that when they go out into the world of work, that they have to have a pretty good understanding about what they can do and what they can't do, what they should try to attempt and what they should stay away from, and how to talk about what their disability is in a very fruitful way that allows the other individual to make sure that they understand that. And that's a way to frame a very, very good understanding of who that person is, and also a very nice way to set a foundation for a further conversation about what the learning disability is as it plays out in the workplace.